Smart Doll family, especially Smart Doll family that likes boy dolls and have some opinions and just want to spend some time talking about Smart Doll boys and the whole thing that's going on with them right now. Let's have a So, as many of us have very sadly learned, Danny Choo, as of right now, will not be doing an official release of the Smart Doll Boys on his website, which has just really saddened lots of Smart Doll collectors, especially me, but even more than me, the tons and tons of Smart Doll collectors out there who really wanted boy dolls and might not have the chance to get them now. I do have some good news I can tell you, and I also have something that we collectors can do as a response to this. But before I go any further, I'm going to try to give y'all, to the best of my ability, kind of a story of what happened. I'm not the best at getting information and relaying it back to others, but I will try my best for you. So the price of the boy dolls, at least from Anime Sugoi, leaked over the weekend, and a lot of collectors were unhappy with the price point they were given. But before I give that price point, matter of fact, I'll go ahead and put it on the screen because some of y'all might not want me to talk about the price of these boy dolls out loud, but I think it's worth it personally. But this is how much they were costing on the Anime Sugoi website. But you see, Anime Sugoi is a third-party seller for them, and they too help get smart dolls to people who maybe can't order them from Japan for whatever reason, and too maybe people who would just feel more comfortable ordering the dolls from closer to where they live or in their country already. Plus, they can sometimes have dolls there that weren't officially released on the Smart Doll website, or maybe there's a doll that you really want that's sold out on the website and you don't know if they're coming back or not. Sometimes you can get them on the Anime Sugoi website, as well as Fabric and Friends will do the same thing. I don't know for sure yet if Fabric and Friends is getting the boy dolls. I've only seen part of the My Lady Disdain Smart Doll news about them, which aired last night, which was Monday the 10th. So maybe they talked about that more later on, but that was how a lot of people got their Gemini Smart Doll boys, who I actually do have Gemini, but I love these two boy doll heads right here. So some people have asked me how I got these heads and if I got them from Chaos or what. So both of these heads are actually custom. So this is a Cos head right here, and this is a cow head, and I sent these heads off to Face Up Artists, and they painted these really handsome faces for me. So if you were wondering, that's how I got my boys. And then I purchased both of them secondhand. So I purchased Gemini secondhand for about I'll put the price of them right here in 2020. So this is how much, 2021. This is how much I paid for my Gemini. And then this is how much I paid for just this body alone. And keep in mind, not that body, sorry. This body. So keep in mind, this is not a perfect body. So as you can see right here, his joints, the color of his joints do not match the rest of his vinyl. And this will not be a thing with the Smart Doll Boys. The only reason how this happened was because when Danny released his, I think it was in 2021 when he released his last set of boy dolls, he released them in Chaos. And some of them you literally had to build yourself. So a collector built herself a boy doll, and I think it was one of her first ever Chaoses she ever built. And I'm going to go ahead and say, she did a much better job than I bet you I could ever do, but there were a few mistakes on the body, which is very understandable. Plus, she didn't have a cinnamon frame, so she put a milk frame instead. So I paid this much money for this body back in 2021, and I did not regret it. Some people would have, but I didn't, because I love these boys so much. As some of you know, I really like boy dolls. I just love having tons of different dolls, and I like boys. If you like guys, or even if you don't like guys, you can get boy dolls because it's so much fun, it just gives you so much more playability. You can have a boyfriend to your character, a husband, a brother, a guy best friend, just anything you want to do with it. Or you could even get some people might just want the boy dolls. They're really cool. And the fact that they have these incredibly handsome boy dolls was actually one of the things that drew me to Smart Doll in the first place. And I'm just incredibly blessed that I have the two that I have. But some people were quite upset with how expensive that the boy dolls are. And I will say, this is extremely expensive for a doll. I understand. A lot of people think that the price of a Smart Doll girl is very expensive for a doll. And it is. These are some of the most, as of right now, these two Smart Doll boys I have here are the most I've ever paid for a doll. But as many of y'all know who are in the BJD world and the collectible, more artist type doll world knows, that's not horrible for how much much some of them cost. Like, for instance, I'm really interested in little darling dolls. I really want to add a little darling to my collection. And about the cheapest you can ever get a real little darling is from the Modern Doll Collectors Convention. And they do have one on the website now that I'm interested in. And she is this price here. But a lot of the times when you go to doll shows and stuff, I've heard they're more of this price here. So it's the type of thing. We as collectors, most of us, we work extraordinarily hard so we can collect dolls, like working overtime, picking up extra shifts, doing odd jobs along the way. So at the end of the day, would you rather get 2 smart doll girls or 1 smart doll boy? And that's a decision that you have to make. But I think that's something that people need to think about with doll collecting is it's up to you. I mean, if you want to, heck, you can get 1 doll that's extremely expensive, but if it's truly worth that to you and you would rather have that 1 doll than 2 or 3 other dolls, it's your decision, because at the end of the day, if you worked hard for that money, it's your money and you can decide what to do with it. And at least from my experience, I would never ever dream of selling any of my boys, but I would say you could probably get your money back pretty easily because so many collectors are just enthusiasts for these boy dolls. And I mean, that's just what I'm saying about it. Do not let me persuade you to get a boy doll if you really don't want one, or if you really truly feel like the price is just a little too much for you. But I'm just saying, in my personal opinion, I think they're really awesome. And I do know that what a lot of people have been saying, or at least some people have been saying, is that not everyone can afford to get a doll that expensive. The vast, vast majority of people can't. And I completely understand that. But to be fair, when you think about other artist type dolls and BJDs, I don't think anyone can afford to get those either, at least not any more than they could smart doll boys. I honestly think smart doll girls are an incredible price because right now, at least in the US, our convergency rate, when you compare it to Japan's, is really good. Like, I'm paying like $200 less for smart doll girls than I did when I got the bulk of my collection. And I've only added 2 to my collection since then. So, and I'm telling you, the only reason I could ever do that, now if y'all are ever over here going, Katie is rich, that is the only way she ever got these. No, I'm extremely lucky, but not rich. A lot of it just comes down to work and the fact that I truly, whenever I get the chance to pick up extra shifts or do anything, I do it for doll money. I bought the vast majority of my smart dolls, like this group here, because like I said, I only added really 2 to my collection since I had like a job, but my family lives on a farm, so there's always like, not always, but like especially when I was like in high school, there was always like odd jobs and stuff you can do for like family members and stuff like that. And I'm telling girl, I racked up on this stuff like during the summer break, during the fall, because it always seemed like there was more stuff then. That was how I bought these boys. A lot of the times, like, I mean, probably making about minimum wage or less for these jobs I was doing, but I wanted one that bad. And I'm telling you, when you can work hard for something, it feels so much more like you earned it. But I also understand that in your country, the convergency rate could be not near as good, or you could be paying a whole lot more than me here in the US. And I understand, and it's not fair, but I mean, we can't get mad at Danny for the convergency rate. And I know that, like, people in Japan, they don't have the luxury, and a lot of places that we do with that convergency rate. But the point is, for other really nice, high-quality dolls like this, the price is also going to be very similar. Like, I have yet, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I just missed it, to find a vinyl BJD boy that isn't somewhere around the price that Danny is selling his new boys for now. Like, this is my Doffy Dream boy right here, and I actually got him through Doffy Dream Choice, but I've never been to Japan. I got an amazing proxy to pick him up for me, but I think by the time I paid for him and got him here in the US, he was pretty close to, so I mean, this is a fair price, honestly, and I mean, I totally agree, like, getting upset that why it has to cost so much for us to get beautiful artist-made stuff, but don't get mad at the artist, get mad at the problems that make it like that. I mean, you can't attack Danny and his company without coming for all the others, and I absolutely love this Doffy Dream boy. I love so many doll brands, and Smart Doll and Doffy are 2 of my favorites. I do not talk about my Doffys near as much, but I love this guy, but personally, in just my opinion, I like the Smart Doll boys more because I think they're more like masculine, and I just kind of like the faces of Smart Dolls better, even when you can get them custom made most of the time. But these guys are awesome, highly highly recommend them. Very handsome and also just great dolls. So if you can't get a smart doll boy, maybe look into a Dolphy Dream boy. I also have a Dolphy Dream sister boy that I very rarely actually do stuff with. It sucks, but I actually got him for a really fair price because I got his body secondhand, incredibly lucky. But just generally speaking, and I mean, for BJD boys, I'm sure it's the exact same thing. I've looked into that a little bit, but I'm not versed enough in 1/3 scale BJDs to know, but this is just the price of dolls like this. And it sucks. I wish it didn't have to be that way, but I want to support the artists and the designers and everyone who just work their butts off to bring us these dolls. And maybe someday stuff will get better, but I think it's a fair price. And the boys aren't perfect, but I mean, I know that now that they have the they used to have the Gen 2 frame, but now they have the Evolve frame, which is what, let me show you. This is what the newer girls are coming with, and listen to the way it cracks. So these frames are much better, in my opinion, than the Gen 2. I do love the Gen 2, but now the boys will have the Evolve frame as well, and they will have the squishier vinyl, which is what, like, the bust is made out of for the girl dolls. So I definitely think that's an improvement, and keep in mind, I paid a lot of money for mine back in the day, and I love them. And especially if you can do a layaway, I mean, I know it's expensive, but maybe you can put it off for a while and you can get one, because they're pretty cool. But at the end of the day, it's up to you. Would you rather have 2 smart doll girls or 1 smart doll boy? And as far as the fashions go, I've never had any issues getting smart doll fashions for my boys. So when I got mine, there was only like 1 pair of jeans on the Smart Doll website for my boys, and I never even got it. I just dress them in like general 1/3 scale BJD boy clothes, and I just get people to commission the stuff for me. Like, these jeans were commissioned, this shirt was commissioned, actually by the same person. This is just like standard BJD jeans right here. They're a little too big, but you can't tell. Then this was also commissioned. You can find stuff on Etsy, but I've honestly had pretty good luck messaging people on like Instagram. But hey, if the clothes is a problem for you, I can get you hooked up. Maybe I can even make a separate video about that sometime. But I mean, I just think I really wish that these boys were getting an official release, because I absolutely love the Smart Doll boys. But hey, Danny Choo, if you're watching this, number 1, I'm a huge fan, and thank you so very much for clicking on my video. But also, too, please reconsider, because me and so many other Smart Doll collectors love your boys. And even if it's not now, even if it's years down the road, I would love to see them offered on the website, maybe for people who can't use this third-party sources, or would just rather order one for you, because they're wonderful. And I mean, too, just making more dolls like more people, representation, which is awesome. And I'm in so many doll chats, and so many people just for months, years, I haven't been in any for years, but I assume for years, have just been dying for these boys. And honestly, just like anything Danny Choo makes, because he's an awesome artist. And fingers crossed that Fabric Friends and Dolls will also be getting the boys in, and they are going to be coming to Chaos, so you can snag yourself a Chaos one, but hopefully we can get some layaways. I don't know if Fabric and Friends does it or not, but I want to think they do. But yeah, so that was my little dolly chat, and I really hope that I could at least give you a little more information about the Smart Doll boys and just my opinion on it. My opinion, so like, just because to me I would rather have 1 smart doll boy versus 2 girls doesn't mean that you do, and it's perfectly fine whichever one it is. But I just wanted to talk about it for a little bit, and to just talk about how much I love my boys, and just share my opinion on it. So what I think we should do about this, especially for all of us Smart Doll fans who really want the boys, we need to tell Danny this. Of course, in a very kind way, but understand, if he really cannot, for whatever reason, get these boys up, especially now, that's okay, but we need to tell him how much we love them and how badly we want them. So, I mean, I think that's what we should do. I went ahead and left an email on his a message on his Twitter, because I pretty much see everything he does. I don't comment much, because some of you may or may not know about me. I'm not really a comedy girl. Like, if I comment on something you posted, you've really done something. You're a good friend of mine, because I feel awkward and I don't know what to say, but we need to, like, and really, especially with all that's going on in the world now, we need to let the brands, especially like smaller brands or brands that we just really love, who are just right the way they should, we need to let them know how much we love and appreciate them. Like, for real, little kindness can go a long way. That's like always my motto. And they're not for everyone, but I love all of my smart dolls, and I really hope that you, if you have smart dolls, you love them as well. And if you don't have one yet, I think you should check it out, but definitely read the reasons why smart dolls aren't for everyone. But I do really love mine, and I want to thank y'all so very much for watching this, and I'll show some pictures at the end of my video for you guys. But thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a blessed doll-filled day. I love telling people to have a blessed day, and I like dolls. So I say have a blessed doll-filled day, whether it's kind of dorky or not.